What if I told you that some of the most passionate and fulfilling relationships happen between people with significant age differences? And what if the signs of mutual attraction in these relationships are completely different from what you might expect? Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of age gap attraction, specifically focusing on the undeniable signs that reveal when a man and an older woman are mutually attracted to each other. This isn't just about surface-level chemistry. We're talking about the psychological, emotional, and behavioral indicators that experts have identified as the strongest predictors of genuine mutual interest. Whether you're a younger man who's found himself drawn to an older woman wondering if that younger guy is really interested, or you're simply curious about the psychology behind these relationships, this video will change how you see attraction forever. I'm going to share with you 12 specific signs that psychologists and relationship experts have identified as the clearest indicators of mutual attraction in age gap relationships. These aren't just theories, they're based on real research and thousands of real-world observations. But here's what makes this even more interesting. Many of these signs are completely different from what you'd see in same-age relationships. The dynamics, the communication patterns, even the way physical attraction manifests. It's all unique to age gap connections. Before we jump in, I want to be clear about something. We're talking about healthy, consensual relationships between adults. All the scenarios and examples I'll share assume both people are mature, emotionally available adults who are choosing to explore a connection based on genuine compatibility and attraction. So, are you ready to discover what real mutual attraction looks like when age becomes just a number? Let's dive in. The psychology of age gap attraction before we explore the specific signs. It's crucial to understand why age gap attractions happen in the first place, because this context will help you recognize the signs we're about to discuss. Research in evolutionary psychology suggests that attraction across age gaps serves different psychological needs for men and women. For younger men, older women often represent emotional maturity, life experience, and a certain confidence that can be incredibly attractive. There's also the appeal of someone who knows what they want and isn't playing games. For older women, younger men can represent vitality, enthusiasm, and a fresh perspective on life. There's often an attraction to someone who hasn't become cynical or jaded, who still has that sense of possibility and adventure. But here's what's really interesting. Successful age gap relationships aren't just about these surface-level attractions. The strongest connections happen when there's genuine compatibility in values, life goals, and emotional maturity. This is why the signs of mutual attraction in these relationships often focus heavily on intellectual and emotional connection, not just physical chemistry. Dr. Justin Lemler, a research fellow at the Kinsey Institute, has found that age gap relationships that last tend to have specific characteristics that set them apart. The partners typically share similar interests despite their age difference. They communicate more openly about their needs and concerns, and they're both comfortable with the unique dynamics their age difference creates. This research helps explain why the signs of mutual attraction we're about to explore are so different from typical dating scenarios. When you're navigating an age gap, both people are often more intentional, more direct, and more focused on genuine compatibility rather than just surface-level attraction. Now, let's look at the specific signs that indicate this deeper level of mutual attraction is happening. Sign number 1, intense eye contact and lingering. Gaze is the first and perhaps most obvious sign of mutual attraction between a man and an older woman is the way they look at each other. But this isn't just casual eye contact. We're talking about something much more intense and meaningful. When there's genuine mutual attraction in an age gap dynamic, the eye contact has a quality that's different from typical interactions. It's sustained, it's comfortable, and it often happens even when they're not directly talking to each other. Here's what to look for. Does he maintain eye contact longer than usual when she's speaking? Does she hold his gaze even when the conversation has moved on to other topics? Most importantly, do they both seem completely comfortable with this extended eye contact, rather than looking away awkwardly in age gap attractions? This eye contact often serves multiple purposes. For the younger man, maintaining strong eye contact with an older woman demonstrates maturity and confidence. He's not intimidated by her experience or status. For the older woman, meeting and holding his gaze shows that she takes him seriously as a potential partner, not just as someone younger. But here's the key detail that sets mutual attraction. Apart from one-sided interest, the eye contact is reciprocal and natural. Neither person has to work to maintain it or force it to happen. It flows naturally throughout their interactions. I've observed this in countless real-world scenarios. There's often a moment, maybe during a deep conversation, maybe just while sharing a laugh, where they lock eyes and both seem to recognize something deeper is happening. The eye contact becomes a form of nonverbal communication, conveying interest, understanding, and attraction without words. One relationship counselor I spoke with described it this way: when there's mutual attraction with an age gap, the eye contact is like a bridge. It connects their different life experiences and creates a shared moment of understanding. You can literally see the connection happening. Pay attention to when this eye contact happens. Is it during serious conversations? While laughing together, during quiet moments? The context can tell you a lot about the nature of their attraction. Sign number 2. Body language. Mirroring. One of the most reliable indicators of mutual attraction, regardless of age, is unconscious body language mirroring. But in age gap relationships, this mirroring often has unique characteristics that make it even more telling. Body language mirroring happens when two people unconsciously copy each other's postures, gestures, and movements. It's a sign that they're in sync emotionally and psychologically. But when there's an age gap involved, this mirroring often bridges generational differences in ways that are fascinating to observe. For example, you might notice that the older woman starts incorporating some of his more youthful gestures or expressions, while he begins to adopt some of her more refined or mature mannerisms. This isn't conscious imitation, it's an unconscious sign that they're influencing each other on a deep level. Here are specific things to watch for. Do they lean in at the same time during conversations? When one crosses their arms, does the other follow suit shortly after? Do they match each other's energy levels? Maybe she becomes more animated around him, while he becomes more thoughtful and measured around her. The mirroring in age gap attractions often extends beyond just physical postures. You might notice they start using similar phrases or expressions, or they begin to share interests that they picked up from each other. He might start referencing music or movies from her generation, while she might show interest in trends or technologies that are more familiar to him. But here's what makes this particularly significant in mutual attraction. The mirroring goes both ways. In one-sided attraction, you typically see the interested person mirroring the object of their affection, but not vice versa. When the attraction is mutual, both people unconsciously mirror each other. I remember observing a couple with a 12-year age gap at a coffee shop. Without realizing it, they had matched each other's sitting positions, were using similar hand gestures while talking, and even reached for their drinks at almost the same time. When I pointed this out to them later, they were friends of mine. They were amazed. They had no idea they were doing it. This unconscious mirroring is your brain's way of saying, I want to be like this person and I want to be closer to this person. When it's happening mutually, it's a strong sign that both people are feeling that attraction and connection. Sign number 3, intellectual. Stimulation in deep conversations. One of the strongest indicators of mutual attraction between a man and an older woman is the quality and depth of their conversations. This goes far beyond casual small talk. We're talking about genuine, intellectual stimulation that both people actively seek out and enjoy. In successful age gap attractions, there's usually a meeting of minds that transcends the age difference. The older woman appreciates his fresh perspective and perhaps his enthusiasm for topics she's passionate about. The younger man values her experience, wisdom, and the depth of insight she brings to conversations. But here's the key. It's not just that she's teaching him or he's entertaining her. True mutual attraction creates a dynamic where both people are learning from each other and genuinely enjoying the intellectual exchange. Look for these specific patterns. Do they seek each other out for opinions on important matters? When something interesting happens in the news or in their personal lives, is the other person one of the first they want to discuss it with? Do their conversations naturally evolve from light topics to deeper, more meaningful subjects? In mutual attraction scenarios, you'll often notice that their conversations have a quality of exploration. They're not just sharing information, they're thinking out loud together, building on each other's ideas, and discovering new perspectives. Through their interaction, I've noticed that these conversations often reveal generational perspectives that both find fascinating. She might share insights about how certain social or cultural changes have evolved over time, while he offers viewpoints that reflect current trends or technologies. When there's mutual attraction, both perspectives are valued and integrated into their understanding. The timing and setting of these conversations is also telling. Do they create opportunities for deeper discussions? Maybe they suggest going for walks where they can talk without distractions, or they find quiet spots at social gatherings where they can have more meaningful exchanges. One particularly strong indicator is when they remember and reference things from previous conversations. This shows that they're not just enjoying the moment, they're processing and valuing what the other person has shared, which is a clear sign of genuine interest and attraction. But perhaps the most telling sign is how they feel after these conversations. Do they both seem energized and engaged? Do they look for opportunities to continue or follow up on topics they've discussed? This kind of intellectual connection is often what transforms initial physical attraction into something deeper and more lasting. The conversations also tend to be more honest and direct than what you might see in same-age relationships. Both people often feel they have less to lose by being authentic, which can create a refreshing dynamic where they're more willing to share their real thoughts and feelings. Sign number 4. Protective and nurturing behaviors. One of the most touching signs of mutual attraction in age gap relationships is the emergence of protective and nurturing behaviors from both sides. This isn't about one person taking care of the other. It's about a mutual desire to support and protect each other in ways that acknowledge their different life stages and experiences. From the older woman's side, this might manifest as subtle guidance or mentoring behaviors. She might offer insights about career decisions, share wisdom about life experiences he hasn't had yet, or provide emotional support during challenging times. But here's the key. She does this in a way that respects his autonomy and treats him as an equal partner, not as someone who needs to be managed or directed. When there's mutual attraction, her protective instincts come from a place of caring, an investment in his well-being, not from a maternal impulse. She might worry about him taking certain risks, but she expresses this concern as a partner would, not as a parent would. From the younger man's side, protective behaviors often manifest differently but are equally telling. He might be particularly attentive to her comfort and well-being, especially in social situations where their age difference might draw attention or comments. He might position himself physically to shield her from uncomfortable situations, or be quick to defend her if others make inappropriate remarks about their relationship. But one of the strongest indicators of mutual attraction is how he protects her from age-related insecurities or societal judgments. A man who's genuinely attracted to an older woman will consistently make her feel valued and desired regardless of age, and will actively work to counter any negative messages she might receive from society about dating someone younger. The nurturing behaviors are particularly interesting to observe. She might take care of practical matters where her experience gives her an advantage, maybe helping him navigate professional situations or offering insights about financial decisions. He might nurture her in ways that bring out her more playful or adventurous side, encouraging her to try new experiences or reminding her of dreams she might have set aside. What makes this mutual is that both people are contributing something valuable to the other's life and growth. Neither person is just taking, they're both giving and receiving in ways that acknowledge their different strengths and life experiences. I've observed couples where the older woman helps the younger man navigate career challenges, while he encourages her to pursue interests or adventures she might have avoided. This creates a beautiful dynamic where both people are growing and being supported in their growth. Pay attention to how these protective and nurturing behaviors are received. In mutual attraction, both people welcome and appreciate what the other offers. There's no resentment about being taken care of or frustration about the other person being too young or too old to understand. Instead, there's gratitude and recognition of the unique value each person brings. Number 5. Playful teasing and banter. One of the most delightful signs of mutual attraction between a man and an older woman is the development of playful teasing and banter that acknowledges their age difference without being mean-spirited or uncomfortable. This kind of playful interaction is actually quite sophisticated. It requires both people to be comfortable with the age gap and to trust that the other person won't use their vulnerabilities against them. When you see this happening naturally and reciprocally, it's a strong sign that both people are attracted and comfortable with each other. The teasing often centers around generational differences in a way that's affectionate rather than mocking. She might playfully tease him about not knowing certain cultural references from before his time, while he might joke about her being too cool for current trends. The key is that both people are laughing together, not at each other. But here's what makes this particularly significant. The teasing often reveals intimate knowledge about each other. She might joke about his quirky habits or preferences, while he might playfully reference her stories about past experiences. This kind of teasing can only happen when people have spent enough time together to learn these personal details, and when they feel secure enough in the relationship to joke about them. The banter also tends to have a flirtatious quality that's unmistakable to observers. There's an undercurrent of attraction and affection that makes their exchanges feel more like foreplay than just friendly conversation. They might challenge each other intellectually in a way that's clearly enjoyable. For both of them, watch for physical cues that accompany the teasing. Do they touch each other's arms while laughing? Do they maintain eye contact during the playful exchanges? Do they lean in closer when delivering particularly witty comebacks? These physical responses indicate that the teasing is creating intimacy rather than distance. One particularly telling sign is how they handle outside observers during these playful exchanges. When there's mutual attraction, they often seem to create a little bubble around themselves during these moments of banter. They're focused on each other's reactions and enjoying the private joke or reference that others might not understand. Timing of when this playful teasing emerges is also significant. It usually develops after they've established trust and comfort with each other, but before they've necessarily acknowledged their attraction openly. It's often a way of testing the waters and expressing affection in a relatively safe way. I've noticed that this kind of banter often serves as a bridge between different communication styles that might be generational. She might introduce him to more sophisticated wordplay or cultural references, while he might bring contemporary humor or internet culture into their exchanges. When there's mutual attraction, both people adapt and appreciate these different styles. The quality of the laughter is also important to observe. Is it genuine and relaxed? Do they both seem to enjoy being teased by the other person? When the attraction is mutual, the teasing brings them closer together rather than creating any tension or discomfort. Sign number 6. Seeking. each other's opinions. A powerful indicator of mutual attraction between a man and an older woman is when they consistently seek each other's opinions on matters both big and small. This goes beyond casual conversation. It's about genuinely valuing the other person's perspective and wanting their input on important decisions. This sign is particularly meaningful in age gap relationships because it demonstrates that both people see past the age difference to recognize and value each other's judgment and insight. It's a sign of deep respect and trust, which are essential foundations for lasting attraction. But from the younger man's perspective, regularly seeking an older woman's opinion shows that he values her experience and wisdom. But when the attraction is mutual, this isn't one. She also seeks his opinions, recognizing that his different generational perspective and fresh outlook can offer valuable insights she might not have considered. Pay attention to the types of decisions they consult each other about. Are they asking for opinions on career moves, family situations, or major life decisions? Do they seek each other's input on smaller matters too, like what to wear to an event, how to handle a difficult conversation, or whether to take on a new opportunity? The key indicator of mutual attraction is that both people not only ask for opinions, but actually consider and often act on the advice they receive. This shows genuine respect for each other's judgment and a willingness to be influenced by the other person, both strong signs of deep attraction and connection. Watch for how they frame their requests for opinions. Do they preface their questions with statements like, "I really value your perspective on this," or "I'd love to know what you think because ... These kinds of statements indicate that they specifically want the other person's input, not just anyone's opinion. The timing of when they seek opinions is also telling. Do they reach out to each other when facing difficult decisions, even if it means interrupting the other person's day? Do they remember to follow up and share how things turned out after taking the other person's advice? These behaviors show that seeking the other person's opinion is a priority, not just a casual afterthought. In mutual attraction scenarios, you'll often notice that they've developed a pattern of bouncing ideas off each other. They might start sentences with "What do you think about ... double quotes, or "I was wondering if you thought." This creates an ongoing dialogue where both people are invested in each other's decision-making processes. One particularly strong indicator is when they seek each other's opinions on matters related to their age difference or relationship. For example, he might ask for her perspective on how to handle questions from friends or family about their relationship, while she might seek his opinion on concerns about societal judgments. This level of openness and vulnerability indicates deep mutual trust and attraction. The response to opinion seeking is equally important. When there's mutual attraction, both people respond thoughtfully and take the request seriously. They ask clarifying questions, offer honest feedback, and show genuine concern for the other person's well-being and success. Sign number 7. Physical touch. Escalating physical touch patterns provide some of the clearest evidence of mutual attraction. And in age gap relationships, these patterns often have unique characteristics that make them particularly telling. The escalation of physical touch in mutual attraction typically follows a gradual but noticeable progression. It might start with brief, seemingly accidental touches, hands brushing while reaching for something, a touch on the shoulder during conversation, or a hug that lasts just a moment longer than typical social hugs. What makes this significant in age gap relationships is that both people are often more intentional and aware of physical boundaries. The older woman might be particularly mindful of not wanting to seem inappropriate, while the younger man might be cautious about respecting her space and not assuming anything. When mutual attraction is present, you'll see both people gradually becoming more comfortable with appropriate physical contact. Watch for reciprocal touching behaviors. Does she touch his arm when making a point? And does he respond with similar gentle touches? Do they both find reasons for casual physical contact, maybe adjusting each other's clothing, sharing personal items that require physical proximity, or choosing seating arrangements that allow for natural contact? The comfort level during physical contact is crucial to observe. When there's mutual attraction, physical touch creates visible relaxation and connection rather than tension. Both people seem to naturally lean into the contact rather than pulling away or appearing uncomfortable. Pay attention to protective touching as well. Does he place a hand on her back when guiding her through crowds? Does she touch his arm to get his attention in group settings? These protective touches often indicate a sense of partnership and mutual care that goes beyond casual attraction. The context of physical touch is also telling. Notice when and where the touching happens. Is it during emotional conversations, while laughing together, or in moments of shared experience? The emotional context often reveals the depth of connection and mutual attraction. One particularly strong indicator is unconscious touching. Moments when they seem to reach for each other without thinking about it. Maybe they naturally gravitate toward sitting closer together, or their hands find each other during conversations. This unconscious physical connection often develops when both people are deeply attracted and comfortable with each other. The progression of physical intimacy also tends to be more thoughtful in age gap relationships with mutual attraction. People are often more communicative about boundaries and comfort levels, which actually creates a stronger foundation for physical connection. They might discuss what feels appropriate, check in with each other about comfort levels, and be more intentional about creating opportunities for appropriate physical closeness. Remember that appropriate physical touch varies greatly depending on cultural background, personal boundaries, and relationship status. The key is observing whether the physical contact appears natural, comfortable, and reciprocal for both people involved. Sign number 8. Time investment and prioritization. One of the most reliable indicators of mutual attraction is how people choose to spend their time. And this is particularly revealing in age gap relationships where both people often have different schedules, responsibilities, and social obligations. When there's genuine mutual attraction between a man and an older woman, you'll notice that both people begin to prioritize spending time together, even when it requires rearranging other commitments or making logistical accommodations for their different life stages. The older woman might have established routines, career obligations, or family responsibilities that typically structure her time. When she consistently makes time for him, perhaps staying out later than usual, rearranging work schedules, or choosing to spend weekends together instead of with established friend groups, it indicates strong attraction and investment in the relationship. Similarly, the younger man might have different social patterns, work schedules, or lifestyle preferences when he chooses to spend time with her instead of with friends his own age, or when he shows genuine interest in activities that appeal to her even if they're outside his usual preferences. It demonstrates significant attraction and commitment, but the key indicator of mutual attraction is that these time investment decisions come naturally and don't feel like sacrifices. Both people genuinely want to spend time together and look forward to their shared experiences. They're not accommodating each other out of obligation, they're choosing each other because being together feels rewarding and fulfilling. Pay attention to how they handle scheduling conflicts or competing priorities. Do they work together to find solutions when their schedules don't align perfectly? Do they show disappointment when they can't spend time together as planned? Do they make efforts to include each other in activities with their respective friend groups or social circles? The quality of time they spend together is also significant. Are they fully present with each other, or are they distracted by phones, work, or other concerns? Mutual attraction typically creates a desire to be fully engaged and present during their time together. Notice whether they create rituals or regular patterns for spending time together. Maybe they establish weekly dinner dates, weekend activities, or even daily check-ins. These patterns indicate that both people value consistency and ongoing connection, not just occasional encounters. One particularly telling sign is how they handle transitions between being together and being apart. Do they seem reluctant to end their time together? Do they make plans for the next meeting before partying? Do they stay in contact between visits through texts, calls, or other communication? The integration of their different worlds is another important factor. Does she make efforts to understand and participate in activities that are important to him? Does he show genuine interest in her established interests and social connections? This kind of cross-generational integration requires significant investment from both sides. Time investment also shows up in smaller ways that can be easy to miss. Maybe they both start leaving their schedules more flexible to accommodate spontaneous opportunities to spend time together. Perhaps they choose each other as their first call when something interesting or important happens in their lives. Signed, #9. Introducing to social circles. One of the most significant milestones in any relationship is the introduction to social circles. But in age gap relationships, this step carries extra weight and provides particularly clear evidence of mutual attraction and serious intent. When both people are willing to introduce each other to their respective friend groups, family members, and social circles, it indicates they're not only attracted to each other but also confident enough in their connection to handle potential social scrutiny or questions about their age difference. From the older woman's perspective, introducing a younger man to her established social circle can feel vulnerable. She might worry about judgment from friends or family, concerns about his fitting in with her peer group, or questions about the long-term viability of the relationship. When she takes this step despite these potential concerns, it's a strong sign of genuine attraction and commitment. The younger man faces similar vulnerabilities, but from a different angle. He might worry about being taken seriously by her friends or family, or about his own social circle's reactions to the age gap. His willingness to meet her people and introduce her to his demonstrates confidence in their connection and a desire to integrate their lives. But the most telling aspect of mutual attraction is how these introductions are handled. Pay attention to how they present each other. Do they introduce each other with pride and affection? Do they use terms that indicate the seriousness of their connection? Are they comfortable with public displays of their relationship status? Watch how they support each other during these social introductions. Does she help him feel comfortable and included in conversations with her friends? Does he make efforts to connect with her social circle and show genuine interest in the people who are important to her? This mutual support during potentially awkward social situations is a strong indicator of deep attraction and partnership. The timing of these introductions is also significant. Are they eager to share their connection with others? Or do they seem hesitant or secretive? Mutual attraction typically creates a desire to share the relationship with important people in their lives, rather than keeping it hidden or separate. Notice how their social circles respond and how the couple handles those responses together. If there are challenging reactions from friends or family, do they support each other through these difficulties? Do they present a united front when facing criticism or skepticism about their age difference? One particularly positive sign is when their respective social circles begin to blend naturally. Maybe his friends start including her in group activities, or her friends begin to genuinely connect with him. This organic integration suggests that the relationship has moved beyond just mutual attraction to genuine compatibility and acceptance. The quality of these social interactions is crucial to observe. Do they both seem relaxed and natural when spending time with each other's friends and family? Do they each make genuine efforts to build relationships with the important people in their partner's life? This kind of social investment requires significant commitment and indicates serious, long-term potential. Pay attention to how they handle questions or comments about their age difference in social settings. Do they address these concerns together as a team? Are they comfortable defending their relationship when necessary? This unified approach to external challenges is a strong sign of mutual commitment and attraction. Sign number 10. Future planning and inclusion. Perhaps one of the strongest indicators of mutual attraction that's moving toward something deeper is when both people begin to include each other in future plans and considerations. This is particularly significant in age gap relationships because it demonstrates that both people see past the age difference to envision a shared future together. Future planning in mutual attraction scenarios doesn't necessarily mean immediately discussing marriage or long-term commitment. Instead, it's about naturally including each other in upcoming events, goals, and decisions that extend beyond the immediate present. You might notice that she mentions him when discussing future work, events, vacation plans, or family gatherings. Maybe she asks his opinion about career decisions that would affect where she lives or how she spends her time. These inclusions indicate that she's considering him as a permanent part of her life, not just a temporary attraction. Similarly, he might start making plans that take her schedule and preferences into account. Perhaps he mentions her when friends are making group plans, or he considers her interests when choosing his own activities and commitments. This shows that he's integrating her into his vision of his future. The key indicator of mutual attraction is that these future inclusions feel natural and assumed rather than forced or awkward. Both people seem to automatically consider the other when making decisions about their time, energy, and resources. Pay attention to how they handle potential conflicts between their future plans and their different life stages. Does she consider how her established career goals might affect their relationship? Does he think about how his developing career and life plans could impact their connection? When there's mutual attraction and genuine compatibility, these conversations happen openly and collaboratively. One particularly telling sign is when they begin to make joint decisions about future experiences. Maybe they plan vacations together, discuss attending important events as a couple, or start talking about shared goals and interests they want to pursue together. The integration of their different life timelines is also significant to observe. She might have established patterns and long-term goals, while he might be in a different phase of life planning and development. Mutual attraction creates a willingness to find ways to align these different timelines and support each other's individual growth while building something together. Notice how they discuss potential challenges related to their different life stages. Do they talk openly about concerns like retirement timing, family planning, or career development phases? When there's mutual attraction, these conversations happen with curiosity and problem-solving energy rather than anxiety or avoidance. The most powerful indicator is when they begin to create shared goals that wouldn't have existed without their connection. Maybe they plan to travel to places that combine his adventurous spirit with her preference for cultural experiences. Perhaps they discuss learning new skills together, or pursuing interests that neither would have considered alone. Watch for how they handle external pressure or skepticism about their future compatibility. Do they research and discuss potential challenges together? Do they seek advice from other successful age gap couples? This kind of proactive planning demonstrates that their attraction is evolving into genuine partnership. Sign number 11. Emotional vulnerability and openness. One of the most profound signs of mutual attraction between a man and an older woman is the level of emotional vulnerability and openness they share with each other. This goes far beyond surface-level conversation to include sharing fears, dreams, past experiences, and authentic emotions. In age gap relationships, emotional vulnerability can feel particularly risky because both people might worry about being judged for their different life experiences or maturity levels. When both people are willing to be genuinely vulnerable with each other, it indicates deep trust and significant mutual attraction. From the older woman's perspective, Emotional openness might involve sharing concerns about aging, past relationship experiences, or fears about being perceived as inappropriate for dating someone younger. She might discuss professional challenges, family dynamics, or personal insecurities that she doesn't typically share with others. The younger man's vulnerability might center around concerns about being taken seriously, fears about his future, direction, or insecurities about his experience level compared to hers. He might share dreams and aspirations while also expressing doubts about his ability to meet her expectations or fit into her established life. But here's what makes this mutual. Both people not only share their own vulnerabilities, but also respond to the other person's openness with empathy, support, and reciprocal sharing. They create a safe space where both can be authentic, without fear of judgment or dismissal. Pay attention to the timing and context of these vulnerable conversations. Do they happen naturally during deeper moments of connection? Do both people seem to find comfort and relief in sharing their authentic selves? Are these conversations followed by increased intimacy and closeness rather than awkwardness or regret? The quality of their responses to each other's vulnerability is crucial. Does she respond to his insecurities with understanding rather than maternal condescension? Does he respond to her concerns with genuine empathy rather than dismissal or attempts to fix everything? These supportive responses indicate mature, mutual attraction. Watch for how they handle each other's emotional needs during difficult times. When one person is going through challenges, does the other offer appropriate support? Do they both feel comfortable seeking emotional support from each other when needed? This mutual emotional dependence is a strong sign of deep attraction and connection. One particularly telling indicator is when they share vulnerabilities specifically related to their age difference. Maybe she admits to feeling insecure about physical changes or societal judgments. Perhaps he shares concerns about not being mature enough or experienced enough. When both people can discuss these sensitive topics openly, it shows extraordinary trust and mutual attraction. The progression of emotional intimacy is also significant. Do their conversations gradually become deeper and more personal over time? Do they remember and follow up on emotional topics the other person has shared? This kind of emotional investment and memory indicates that their attraction includes genuine care for each other's inner lives. Notice how they protect each other's emotional vulnerabilities. Do they keep private information confidential? Do they avoid using shared vulnerabilities against each other during disagreements? This emotional safety is essential for sustained mutual attraction and long-term relationship success. Sign number 12. Consistent communication patterns. The final and perhaps most reliable sign of mutual attraction is the development of consistent, meaningful communication patterns that both people actively maintain and prioritize. This goes beyond just frequent contact, to include the quality, timing, and emotional investment in their ongoing communication. When there's genuine mutual attraction between a man and an older woman, they typically develop communication rhythms that work for both of their lifestyles and preferences. This might involve daily check-ins, regular phone calls, consistent texting patterns, or scheduled video chats. The key is that both people contribute to maintaining this communication and both genuinely look forward to these interactions. Pay attention to the responsiveness patterns. Do they both reply to messages in reasonable time frames? When someone is busy or unavailable, do they communicate about the delay? Do they both make efforts to continue conversations and ask follow-up questions that show they're engaged with what the other person is sharing? The content of their communication is particularly telling. Are they sharing meaningful details about their daily lives, thoughts, and experiences? Do they send each other things they think the other would find? Interesting articles, photos, funny observations, or important updates. This kind of ongoing sharing indicates that they're thinking about each other throughout their daily lives. Notice how they handle communication during conflicts or misunderstandings. Do they work through issues directly and honestly? Are they both willing to apologize when necessary and forgive when appropriate? Do they use their communication to resolve problems rather than avoid them or let them fester? The integration of different communication styles is also significant. She might prefer phone calls while he's more comfortable with texting, or vice versa. When there's mutual attraction, both people typically adapt and find ways to communicate that work for both of them. They might compromise on communication methods, or make efforts to accommodate each other's preferences. Watch for how they prioritize communication with each other versus other relationships. Do they make time for meaningful conversations even when they're busy? Do they choose to share important news or experiences with each other first? This prioritization indicates that their communication has become an important and valued part of both of their lives. The emotional tone of their communication is crucial to observe. Do they both seem genuinely happy to hear from each other? Are their conversations generally positive and supportive, even when discussing challenges? They use their communication to encourage and support each other's goals and activities. One particularly strong indicator is when their communication patterns become naturally integrated into their daily routines. Maybe they have a regular morning check-in, evening recap, or weekend catch-up call. These established patterns show that both people value and prioritize their connection as part of their regular life structure. The consistency of communication during different life circumstances is also telling. Do they maintain contact when one or both are busy, stressed, or dealing with other obligations? Do they use communication to support each other through difficult times? This reliability in communication often reflects the reliability of their mutual attraction and commitment. Finally, pay attention to how their communication evolves over time. Does it become more intimate and personal as their relationship develops? Do they develop inside jokes, shared references, and communication shortcuts that reflect their growing connection? This evolution shows that their attraction is deepening and becoming more integrated into their daily lives. Red flags to watch for. While we've focused on positive signs of mutual attraction, it's equally important to recognize red flags that might indicate unhealthy dynamics or one-sided interest disguised as mutual attraction. Being aware of these warning signs can help protect both people from potentially harmful situations. One of the most significant red flags in age gap relationships is when the power dynamic becomes unbalanced in manipulative ways. This might manifest as the older woman using her experience or resources to control or manipulate the younger man, or conversely, the younger man taking advantage of any insecurities the older woman might have about the age difference. Watch for signs of emotional manipulation around age-related insecurities. If either person consistently uses the age difference to dismiss the other's concerns, make the other feel inadequate, or justify inappropriate behavior, this is a serious red flag. Healthy mutual attraction involves celebrating differences, not exploiting them. Financial exploitation is another concern to watch for. While it's natural for people in different life stages to have different financial resources, be wary of situations where money becomes a primary focus of the relationship. If either person seems primarily motivated by financial gain or security rather than genuine attraction and compatibility, this is problematic. Pay attention to social isolation patterns. If either person is encouraging the other to distance themselves from friends, family, or social connections, this is a major red flag. Healthy relationships should enhance social connections, not limit them. Both people should feel comfortable maintaining their existing relationships and social circles. Look for signs of emotional immaturity that might indicate someone is not ready for a serious relationship, regardless of age. This might include inability to handle conflicts constructively, extreme jealousy, possessive behavior, or unwillingness to consider the other person's needs and feelings. Be concerned if there are significant disparities in emotional investment. While attraction can develop at different paces for different people, large imbalances in interest, effort, or commitment can indicate that the attraction isn't truly mutual. Both people should be contributing relatively equally to the relationships. Development. Watch for anyone who seems to be collecting age gap relationships as a pattern rather than forming genuine connections. If someone has a history of exclusively dating people significantly older or younger without apparent regard for individual compatibility, this might indicate fetishization rather than authentic attraction. Communication. Red flags include condescension or patronizing behavior from either person. If the older woman consistently treats the younger man as immature or inexperienced, or if the younger man dismisses her concerns as outdated or irrelevant, these are signs of disrespect rather than mutual attraction. Be wary of rushed relationship progression. While age gap relationships can develop intense connections quickly, be concerned if either person is pushing for major commitments, life changes, or intimate involvement before adequate trust and compatibility have been established. Finally, pay attention to how both people handle external criticism or concerns from friends and family. While they should support each other against unfair judgment, they should also be willing to consider legitimate concerns from people who care about them. Completely dismissing all outside perspectives can be a sign of unhealthy relationship dynamics. Building healthy age gap relationships. If you've recognized signs of mutual attraction in your own age gap relationship, or you're considering pursuing such a connection, it's important to understand how to build and maintain healthy dynamics that honor both people's needs and life stages. First and foremost, open communication about the age difference itself is essential. Both people should feel comfortable discussing their concerns, expectations, and boundaries related to their different life experiences. This includes talking about potential challenges like social judgment, different life timelines, and varying relationship goals. Establish mutual respect as the foundation of your connection. This means the older woman should never condescend to or mother the younger man, while he should never dismiss her concerns or treat her as just an exciting challenge to conquer. Both people bring valuable perspectives and experiences to the relationship. Maintain your individual identities and interests while building shared experiences. The older woman shouldn't feel pressured to adopt all his interests or try to seem younger than she is. Similarly, he shouldn't feel obligated to completely change his lifestyle or interests to match hers. The strongest age gap relationships celebrate both similarities and differences. Create strategies for handling external judgment and criticism. Develop responses to intrusive questions or comments about your age difference. Support each other when facing skepticism from friends or family, but also remain open to legitimate concerns from people who care about you. Establish clear boundaries around financial matters. Discuss expectations about who pays for what, how financial decisions will be made, and how to handle any disparities in income or resources. These conversations can prevent misunderstandings and resentment later. Plan for how you'll navigate different life stages and timelines. Discuss retirement planning, career goals, family planning, and other major life decisions. While you don't need to have everything figured out immediately, having ongoing conversations about these topics helps ensure you're moving in compatible directions. Build connections with other successful age gap couples if possible. Having role models and support from people who understand your unique challenges can be invaluable. Look for couples who have navigated similar age differences successfully and learn from their experiences. Prioritize emotional maturity and growth. For both partners, the younger man should continue developing emotional intelligence and life skills, while the older woman should remain open to new experiences and perspectives. Both people should be committed to personal growth and supporting each other's development. Create rituals and traditions that honor both of your backgrounds and interests. This might involve alternating between activities that appeal to each person's generation, or finding new experiences that neither of you would have discovered alone. Establish regular check-ins about the relationship's health and development. Schedule time to discuss what's working well, what challenges you're facing, and how you want to continue growing together. These conversations help ensure that both people remain satisfied and committed. Remember that successful age gap relationships require the same fundamental elements as any healthy relationship: mutual respect, trust, communication, shared values, and genuine care for each other's well-being. The age difference adds unique dimensions to navigate, but it doesn't change these basic requirements. Most importantly, focus on building a relationship based on genuine compatibility rather than just the excitement of the age difference. While the age gap might be what initially attracts you to each other, lasting relationships are built on much deeper foundations of friendship, respect, and shared life goals. We've covered 12 powerful signs of mutual attraction between a man and an older woman, from intense eye contact and body language, mirroring to consistent communication patterns and future planning together. But remember, the most important thing isn't just recognizing these signs, it's understanding what they mean for building genuine, lasting connections. Age gap relationships can be incredibly fulfilling when they're based on mutual respect, genuine compatibility, and authentic attraction. The key is moving beyond the surface-level excitement of the age difference to build something deeper and more meaningful. If you're currently in an age gap relationship or considering one, focus on the quality of your connection rather than just the signs of attraction. Are you both growing as individuals? Do you support each other's goals and dreams? Can you navigate challenges together as a team? These are the factors that determine long-term success. For those who are simply curious about the psychology of attraction, I hope this video has given you insight into how complex and fascinating human connections can be. Attraction isn't just about age, appearance, or social status. It's about finding someone who complements and enhances your life in meaningful ways. Remember, every relationship is unique. While these signs can help you recognize mutual attraction, the most important thing is how you feel when you're with the other person. Do they make you feel valued, respected, and supported? Do you look forward to spending time together? Do you both feel comfortable being your authentic selves? These feelings matter more than any checklist of signs. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content about relationships, psychology, and human connection. Leave a comment below sharing your thoughts or experiences. I love hearing from viewers about what resonates with them. What topic would you like me to explore next? Are you interested in learning about other types of relationships, communication strategies, or perhaps the psychology behind different attraction patterns? Let me know in the comments, and I'll consider it for future videos. Thank you for watching, and remember, the best relationships, regardless of age, are built on mutual respect, genuine care, and authentic connection. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.